Hi guys. I decided to make a video, my first video, and what I'd like to discuss with you is about anxiety, paranoia, OCD, and some of the medications that I've been on and off during this process dealing with this. Anxiety is not a fun condition to have. I've had anxiety pretty much all of my life, anxiety and paranoia, due to the fact that I was not treated too well when I was a child, and unfortunately that has spilled over into my adulthood. When I was a child, it was basically a racial issue because I'm biracial, and now it's more or less a sexist and bullying issue that I deal with on a daily basis at work. Actually, I haven't been to work since April the 27th, I think it was, and today is the 13th of May. It's Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to anybody that's a mother. Um, so anyway, on a daily basis, I have these anxiety attacks. They're really awful. In the beginning, I would have anxiety attacks 5 to 7 times a day. I wasn't on any medication at all, and it got to the point where I just was tired of being, in a state of anxiety half of the day, and I had to see what, I could do about it so that I could live a little more better quality of life rather than constantly worrying and feeling out of sorts. So I made the decision to see a psychiatrist as well as a psychologist, and so I was started on a drug called alprazolam. It's better known as Xanax. It's the generic form, and it's in a class of drugs called benzodiazepines. Um, it's more or less like a tranquilizer, and it's highly addictive. It's okay to use on the short term, but if you're going to be using it more than 2 weeks time, you really need to talk to the doctor about it, because the longer you take it, the more your body gets acclimated to it, and you have to take more. I was started out on the smallest dose, um, 0.025, I believe it was, and then I was up to a half a milligram, and then I went up to 1 milligram, and from there it was 2 milligrams, and before you knew it, I was all the way up to 5 a day, and that's just way too much. But before that, I was doing fairly well with it. I was on the alprazolam along with what was the name of it? Well, actually, there were a lot of SSRIs that were tried on me. SSRIs stands for selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors. Um, Apparently, when you're going through anxiety or OCD, your serotonin levels, there's something that happens where they're not connecting with the receptors properly. And so, I may not be explaining it correctly, but it's similar to that, and the SSRIs are supposed to help with that. Um, uh, I was first put on Wellbutrin, and in the very beginning that I was put on that, it wasn't by a psychiatrist, it was by, actually it was by a regular medical doctor to help me quit smoking, which it didn't work. No, it didn't work. I still smoke. But the one thing about the Wellbutrin is it's a stimulant, which at the time I didn't really get that. I didn't know that it was a stimulant. I knew it made my sex drive go up, which, hey, I'm not worried about that. I mean, I like that. But I didn't realize how much it contributes. If you take too much of it, it can really cause you to get anxious, and that's really not what I want to do. But I did continue taking it. I started off with a 300 XL, and it was fine. It's an antidepressant, but um, that's really not why I used it. I used it because it helps raise your sex drive, and I'm an older woman, 46 years old, you know, and I'm very sexual, but I would like to stay that way, so that's why I took it. I also was on Pexiva. Pexiva is an SSRI. It is a form of Paxil. It was one of the newer pills that was put out. And the great thing about that was I never had to pay for it because, my insurance, there was some kind of thing in my insurance. I used to get it free every month, which really was nice because I already had pretty much of a hefty pharmacy bill. So that was nice. Um, did it work? Well, I didn't seem as depressed or as anxious. Um, the benzodiazepine, the alprazolam, seemed to really work on that real well for me. I mean, as soon as I would have an anxiety attack, I'd just take one, and why, it'd be gone, very soon. Sometimes they would make me tired enough to go to sleep. Sometimes they would just relax me, where I didn't have the anxiety, which I always embraced because I can't stand being anxious and agitated. Um, After a while, when I was up to like 5 pills a day on the alprazolam, it was almost time for my appointment with the psychiatrist. I hadn't been to see him for a little over a month, and he wouldn't refill the prescription. So I went from 5 milligrams a day to nothing, which is very, very dangerous. I mean, I I can't understand why he did that. I understand that doctors want to see you, but at the same time, you can't just stop cold turkey like that. You can, but there's a big chance you're taking. You can have a grand mal seizure. You can die from that. And I'll tell you what, withdrawal is no joke. I mean, it is not funny. Withdrawal sucks. I mean, my skin, the only way I can explain it is if you've ever had a Hall's cough drop and the eucalyptus or the menthol flavoring, the coolness, that's the way my skin felt. Every time I'd try and explain it to somebody, I'd say my skin feels like I have eucalyptus skin. It was awful. And my muscles and joints constantly hurting because I was tensed up, and I couldn't help it. Grinding my teeth all day and all night. Oh, and no sleep. I mean, the first 5 nights, I had no sleep at all. And if there's anything that sucks most, it's when you're really, really tired, but you can't fall asleep, and all you do is lay there in bed staring at the wall. It's monotonous. It's crazy. The only little bit of relief I found to get was I had some Benadryl. I know it sounds crazy, but I had some Benadryl cream, extra strength. It was in a tube, And I put that because my left hand was itching so bad I couldn't stop scratching it. I also have diabetes, so I thought it had something to do with the diabetes. I had been having the itchy palm for quite a while, so but it got so bad that I said, maybe this has to do with the withdrawal. And I put some of that on there because it's anti-itch cream. And as soon as I put it on my hand, my palm, and started rubbing it in, and I closed my hands together like this, like I was praying, this sensation came and went through my entire body, and I'm sure I was not hallucinating this. You would probably think I was, but I mean, I wasn't. It just happened recently too. I did it the other night because I haven't had any kind of medication. Well, no alprazolam, and so it just came into my system and it kind of calmed me down. It kind of took away a little bit of the eucalyptus feeling, but I still couldn't go to sleep. Um, I did finally go in to see my psychiatrist, and I told him what happened. I had to be honest with him. I was taking the medication that he prescribed me, but a friend of mine had some too, and I was taking those too. Because a lot of times I would run out or just about run out of my medication before it was time to go get it, and so I would have some extra. And that really is not the thing to do. If you're ever taking medication, try not to overuse it. I mean, that was really stupid of me. um, Xanax, alprazolam, it's a controlled substance, it's highly addictive, and if you feel that you can't function without it, you need to go to the doctor. You don't need to take more medicine. Just get in to see the psychiatrist or your medical doctor and discuss it with them, and maybe they can help you out and put you on something else or taper you off of that, so that you can get to taking something else. Basically, what's happened to my body is that it has gone into an electric shock. Like it's not an electric shock, a chemical shock, because I went without a medication, and that was completely cold turkey. And then when I went in to see the psychiatrist, I stopped taking the Paxiva, and he ended up putting me on hydroxyzine, which is an antihistamine. It's in a class of drugs called an antihistamine, and fluoxetine, which is Prozac. Basically, it's just the generic form. I wasn't too thrilled about going on Prozac because it was the very first SSRI. All of these others are derivatives of Prozac. It was the first one. And it has a bad rap. I mean, there's a lot of things said about it concerning committing suicide and just lots of stuff that's really bad. And so I'm a little nervous about taking that. I've been taking it now for, let's see, it was the second. So I've been taking it for a week and 4 days today. So a little over a week. I don't really notice that it's doing anything. I was told that it might take a little bit to get in my system fully. So I do have an appointment tomorrow with my psychiatrist, and I'm going to have to discuss with him. I need to go on something to calm me down, because I'll tell you what, this is the calmest I've been since I've been off work. My entire time at work, I've been off on a vacation, supposedly, and since the 27th, and every day I've been in bed. I can't do anything. I mean, I take a shower, I wash, I bathe, but, and at first I wasn't eating anything. I mean, I lost 16 pounds, and which I need to lose, as you can see, but not that way. I mean, a diabetic should not lose weight that way. But anyway, I'm going to continue this tape. This is about 15 minutes long, so I'm going to make another one here shortly, and hopefully I will be able to continue with what I was talking about. Thanks for listening. Bye bye.